let's talk about Destination. Catching Hell Part 2, Destination. The hustle behind this one was pretty epic, and I think it's the kind of thing that's got to get covered because it's an unconventional way to get something published. I want to talk about kind of where it came from and what happened to it, and look forward to the future. So that's what we're going to do today. Thanks for coming along. This is Wright Watson. Here we go. Summer 2017. Catching Hell Part 1 Journey is picked up by a publisher, primarily working in ebooks, but I don't care. They say that they're going to release it in May of 2018, and damned if that's not what happened. I'm a lucky man. I'm a published author. I got 2 books out in the wild. Catching Hell Part 2, waiting to be my 3rd. There's a ptarmigan over there. I try and capture it on video, but you're never going to see it because they're made to blend in, but I appreciate a bird with a silent P. So, a little while after Catching Hell Part 1 comes out, the publisher comes to me, says, you know what, at the end of 2018, we're going to stop publishing. We're wondering if you want to take Catching Hell Part 1 back and maybe try and get Catching Hell 1 and 2 on with another publisher because you probably want to keep these things together. I appreciate the fact that they were honest with me, and I can't really say that they were wrong, but after everything that I'd gone through with Catching Hell Part 1, and there's a video about that on this channel if you want to go back and relive that mishigas, I didn't want to try and have to hustle my way through it again. I had other things on the go. So I sat back, I thought about it, and I decided I got a bit of a plan. I went back to them and I said, what's it going to take for Catching Hell Part 2 to be published by you this year, 2018? They were honest with me. And they said, how much can you do on your own? Now, I don't know much about self-publication, but they said, if you can do things like the editing and maybe even get the cover, that would be a huge step. And then we can look after the distribution. I thought that was a great compromise. It's a form of publishing that I wasn't really familiar with. I can't remember the name right now. Hybrid publishing. That's the term you're trying to think of. It's hybrid publishing. Future me? What do you do? Are you actually in your car right now? What do you want from me? I pulled over. Would you rather I go off on some like crazy political rant right now? Because that's usually what people do in this kind of situation. Unfortunately, I'm not driving a truck. No, God, no. This world doesn't need any more of that, let me tell you. But, like, how is this even possible? How is my future self communicating with my current self? Look, man, I don't know how this thing works. You're the one who writes in genre fiction. You could probably figure out more than I can. The point is, it's hybrid publishing, and that's the thing that you did. You're welcome. All right, fine. It's hybrid publishing. Jesus, you don't have to be such a dick about it. You know what? I'm going to bend down right now. I'm going to pick up a whole bunch of rocks and dirt and stick it in your pocket. Good luck cleaning that out of your fancy puff jacket later, ass. What? Oh, you son of a bitch. So, hybrid publishing. That's kind of the compromise that we came to. First of all, I had to get it edited. Who did I go to? Oh, you better believe I went to Fluky Fiction. They're going to come up a lot. I took it to them and said, can you edit this for me? Let them know the plan, give them the editing credit on it. Absolutely, they say. Love to work with you again. Here we go. As for the cover, well, anybody who self-publishes can tell you that there is a lot of places out there on the internet where you can find yourself a pre-made cover. I just had to find the right one. It was a little bit tricky, but eventually I settled on something. And of course, those that have followed me for a little bit know that I eventually settled on this. Obviously, it doesn't have too much in common with the original Catching Hell, and, you know, that's just kind of the hazard of the game. But I found it. It was on sale. I think this only cost me about $60 American. It's got a phoenix on it. It's got mountains on it. I figured that was enough on point for me to pick this one and go with it. So this was the one that came out. So a little while later, I got my cover. I write my blurb, I get it edited, it's ready to go. And I bring it back to the publisher at the time and I say, I've done my side. What do you think? They're thankful for it. And they say, you know what? We can work with this. Just give us a bit of time. So time is what I gave them. Took a couple of months. And then they spring on me. Guess what? It's coming out in a week. Huh. Not a whole lot of time for promotion, but at least I would have had both of my books under the same publishing house and basically following all of the same templates. So it was really easy for me to market that way. My publicist wasn't a big fan of the fact that I gave him about 7 days lead time, but he was pretty understanding. And then it released. There's no blueprint for the way that we're supposed to do these things. Everybody kind of thinks when they first get into this game that this is the process and this is how you follow it, and then everything else will just fall into place. And that's not the way it works. I'm telling you, sometimes you got to go out and you got to make it happen yourself. Actually, I'd say sometimes. I'd say most of the time you got to do that. Even the most successful authors usually have to push their own product a whole lot more than their publishers are. That's just the way it goes. Find your way in. See how much hustle you got in you, and then go from there. It worked for me. Of course, anybody who knows that the publisher eventually went under. I could have gone to another publisher, but I decided to work with Fluky Fiction again, who came to me and said, we want to take Catching Hell and we want to redo it, remaster it, and get it back out there in the world. And that's exactly what happened. So, for Catching Hell Destination, May 9th, 2023, got back out into the world. Back under one house, and with covers to match. So much better than what I was able to do in the first place. It's amazing how much better you feel when you see your series, whether it's 2 books, 5 books, 512 books, doesn't matter. When you see it all come together and you're like, yeah, this is it. This is what it's supposed to be. Thank you, Fluky Fiction. So, now you can find it. It's available on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description or something. You know, I often hear YouTubers say, I'll put a link in the description, and now that I'm making this video, I have no idea if I can do that. So if it's down there, I figured it out. But it's back out. Thanks to Fluky Fiction, my partner in publishing crime. It's back out, and the story is just as fantastic as I always knew that it could be. Aryu and Johan adventuring through the worlds of magic and technology, bringing them together. It is epic science fantasy, the likes of which I always wanted to see when I was a kid, and I never actually did. So, like any good author, when you don't see a story that you like, you go out and you write it yourself. That's all I've got for today. And hey, remember, be a hero. Ha! I said the thing before you had a chance to say the thing. God damn it, I hate that guy.